listening to the Agent Survival Guide podcast, a podcast for today's insurance agents. Informing, educating, empowering, improving the way you do business in an industry that's anything but static. In today's episode, it may sound like a boring tax document, but a 1035 exchange can give your clients the empowerment of choice without penalties when it comes to their policies. What you need to know about 1035 exchanges, written by Roxanne Anderson. In its most basic form, a 1035 exchange is a tax-advantaged way policyholders can change their life insurance, annuity, and long-term care coverage. To most, it's just a dull section in the tax code. To insurance agents and financial advisors, however, it's an incredibly valuable sales tool for updating coverage, leveraging funds, and delighting clients. We're exploring the ins, outs, and in-betweens of this brilliant tax instrument. Before we get too far into the details, let's look at what a 1035 exchange is. Generally speaking, a 1035 exchange relates to Section 1035 in the Internal Revenue Code from the Internal Revenue Service. It allows life insurance, annuity, and long-term care insurance policyholders to trade in their current policy for a new one without any tax penalties. Those with endowments can use 1035 exchanges as well. There are some restrictions, though. Here are the acceptable 1035 exchanges. Life insurance can be exchanged for life insurance, a non-qualified annuity, a qualified long-term care insurance plan, or LTCI for short, or an endowment. An endowment may be traded in for a non-qualified annuity, a qualified LTCI, or another endowment. A non-qualified annuity can be swapped for a non-qualified annuity or a qualified LTCI. And then lastly, a qualified LTCI can be exchanged for another qualified LTCI. The Pension Protection Act, the PPA for short, became law in 2010 and expanded 1035 exchanges to allow individuals to use a non-qualified annuity, life insurance, or a qualified LTCI policy to get a new qualified LTCI product. Before the PPA was passed, individuals could only exchange a non-qualified annuity to a different annuity, and a life insurance policy to an annuity or a different life insurance policy. So, why should we care about 1035 exchanges? Well, as you know, the financial and coverage needs of a client change over time. You could meet with a new client who purchased a life insurance policy from another agent years ago. After talking with the client and reviewing their policy and current situation, you may find that they're ready to switch to a new policy or want to leverage their old assets to help plan for extended care they may need in the future. Think of a 1035 exchange as a powerful, free sales tool that helps you grant your clients' wishes and earn more commission. Additionally, we have a great episode called Life Insurance for Each of Life's Stages for more tips and information on different scenarios. Through a 1035 exchange, you can take old policies clients may no longer want or need and transfer the value and any gains tax-free to newer ones with more features, lower costs, or more suitable coverage. And guess what? Writing a client into a new policy using a 1035 exchange earns you money just like any other sale would. Now that we've gone over what a 1035 exchange is, let's take a look at when a 1035 exchange makes sense for clients. A 1035 exchange can serve as a great way to help clients move their assets from one type of annuity or life insurance product to another. For example, a client with a variable annuity may want the security of a fixed annuity now that they're older. Or a client who previously purchased a life insurance product with a large death benefit may want a cheaper policy with a smaller death benefit now that their kids are all grown and financially stable. As long as they don't have high surrender charges or outstanding loans, a 1035 exchange may be the best way to get these clients into new policies. 1035 exchanges can also play an extremely valuable role in getting LTCI prospects set up with benefits. Why use a 1035 exchange for long-term care protection? Long-term care is a huge financial risk, and it's generally left unprotected. 1035 exchanges allow individuals to reposition their current assets into a life/LTCI or annuity/combination product or a traditional LTCI product. With hybrid products, LTCI coverage is not use it or lose it. One LTCI policy may be able to cover 2 lives. The policyholder can potentially use the funds in their new policy to pay for long-term care costs tax-free. We've got the what and the when. Now let's see how 1035 exchanges work. To get a new policy via a 1035 exchange, policyholders essentially surrender their old policy and transfer its value into the new one. The insurance companies involved must complete these actions. It's important to note that companies are legally required to allow individuals to transfer their policy to another company. However, they're not legally required to accept 1035 exchanges from other companies. Here are some general 1035 exchange rules to keep in mind. The owner, insured, or annuitant must be the same on the new policy as it was on the old one. Policyholders can trade in multiple contracts for a new one, but not the other way around. Surrender charges may apply if the old policy is still in its surrender period. A transfer, most likely, will not be considered a 1035 exchange if policyholders surrender their old policy for a check and then use that check to buy a new policy, or if outstanding loans exist on the original policy. Sometimes, instead of doing a complete 1035 exchange, a partial 1035 exchange may be in order. Partial 1035 exchanges are allowed and sometimes necessary in certain circumstances. For more information about these transactions, we recommend talking to the insurance companies participating in the deal. If you have questions about 1035 exchanges, we suggest consulting a financial advisor, accountant, or a tax professional. Now, we've mentioned affiliate marketing before here on the podcast, and this is a situation when having those professional partnerships really comes in handy because you will know exactly who to call. A 1035 exchange is so much more than just a humdrum provision in the tax code. It's one of the best possible ways for life insurance, annuity, and LTCI agents and advisors to help clients update their policies. Are you taking advantage of them? To stay on top of industry news, get advice on sales strategies, and a whole lot more, be sure you're following along with our podcast. That way, when we publish new content, you'll be notified first thing. You do not want to miss out on this great resource. Thank you so much for listening. We will see you next episode. The Agent Survival Guide podcast is a production of Ritter Insurance Marketing, an Integrity company. This episode was written by Roxanne Anderson. Script adaptation by Tina Lamoureux. Recording and production by me, Sarah Ruppel. Podcast design by Urban Rivera. Artwork by Vivian Zhao. Follow along with our show wherever you like to listen.